Thanks to the support as a channel member, Chris Tierney. Fine, you win. In this transfer special, I'm going to sign a goalkeeper. Hello, welcome to part 35 of the Tour de France. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special at the end of the 2026-27 season, which, as you can see, is on the screen now. I mean, if we're going to be proper about it, it was another good season. We're Tour. We're not supposed to be in the playoffs. We're not supposed to be challenging for promotion, but we did. So I guess we have to give it a tentative thumbs up, even though it ended in heartbreak. But our signing of the season has gone to Hugo van der Merch, who has just quietly performed fullback on either side, primarily right back, but can play left back for us as well, and has played in both positions. A 7.16. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I mean, I imagine if Rocco Vukovic had been here a little bit longer, he would have got that award. 14 appearances, 10 goals, 3 assists, a 7.69. That is absurd. I don't think there's much chance of us getting him back this season. It's interesting that it says that we signed him from Hajduk Split, but we didn't. We signed him on loan from Monaco, our parent club. But I mean, that is a brilliant season from him. And Bradley Barcola, 19 goal contributions from 35 games. Doesn't quite tell the whole story of his season, because he kind of came to life in the second half of the year when we started playing him as the striker. And pretty much all of those numbers have come since then. The rest of last summer's signings, less inspired. Ian Gomez is still sulking because I had the audacity to substitute him at one point. Hakim Abdallah is, I mean, yeah, not Paolo. I mean, Paolo will be good, not yet. Vinny Triboulet, one got, yeah. It wasn't the best summer. We'd like a better summer this time around, please. But like I say, ultimately, we were supposed to avoid a relegation battle. We finished 4th. We did all right. Now we just need to find a way to do even better this coming season. Money continues to trickle into the club. Sponsorships have gone up again, which is always handy. We could do with those continuing to go up each year. Broadcast revenue down ever so slightly. I'm not entirely sure why that would be. Maybe we had a slightly shorter cup run this year. Corporate is up, though. Prize money is still pathetic, but match day revenue has increased. And Tutu selling more shirts than anybody. He was also our top scorer, and I think the division's top scorer as well. This was our team of the year. Mandrea in goal, averaged a 7. We don't need a goalkeeper after all. We'll be fine. Cisse, Deleste, Martinez and Van der Merch, the rest of the back four. Keita and Gomez in midfield. And then Vukovic and Nguema supporting Tutu and Barcola. I think we need a complete rethink of this summer. We've been using variations of, I mean, it's saying clean slate. It's actually a variation of a wing play system, but quite heavily customized, which I guess turns it into a clean slate. If you customize it so far, it doesn't look like wing play anymore. I think we're abandoning that and doing something a little bit more gegenpressy. You know, I like something a little bit more gegenpressy once we've got the fitness and the ability levels to actually be able to do it properly. And I think we should be reaching that point now. But not only are we going to need to bring in a goalkeeper, we're also going to need a bit of a rebuild in midfield, because Keita, we know, is leaving. Nguema, I wouldn't be surprised to see leave. Vukovic, we are very unlikely to get back on loan again. And Ian Gomez wants to leave. So the midfield is likely to look very, very different. And it would be nice, as much as Barcola looked pretty useful once he moved up top, we have ultimately, with Barcola and Tutu, got 2 wingers playing as our 2 strikers. We could really use a proper striker as well, on top of the goalkeeper that we'd like to bring in. And maybe a defender as well. There's a lot that we could do. There really is. If we can bring the right players in, there's a lot I'd like to do to this squad. Fans Player of the Year is Tutu. Always worth bearing in mind, he's still very young, because he's won Young Player of the Year as well. Still only 23 years old, continues to get better. We really shouldn't criticise Gabriel Tutu. For his age, he is brilliant. Van der Merch got signing of the season, as we know. Gotan, goal of the season. Top scorer was Tutu, and Nguema most assists, and Tutu most man of the matches and top average rating. Moussa Cisse getting our worst discipline all-time record with 9 yellows and 2 red cards. And Vinny Triboulet, our record transfer, he scored 1 goal. That seems like excellent value for money. This is our all-time best 11, so we'll just check in on a few of these boys. Goda is now an unemployed goalkeeping coach. as he shall remain. I hadn't given him a job, no matter how much of a club legend he was. Tannard is now playing for US Concarneau in the National League. Stephen Boyd, I would love to be able to bring Stephen Boyd back. I suggest it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Did only play 7 games for Marseille last year, so he's not a regular starter for them. So, I mean, I guess it's not completely impossible that we get him back on loan at some point. I think maybe if we'd have got promoted, we'd have stood a chance of getting him back on loan. But I suspect nothing on that front is going to happen this summer. Camara is now playing in Guinea, and Amimi is playing in Morocco. So we've got a little bit of a world tour of our all-time best 11 here. Brian is playing in Luxembourg. Did anybody stay in France? Traore, of course, still with us. Perron is still playing, but down in the National 3. He's tumbled back down through the leagues. Terence Mwimba retired after Bastia. And then Big Fat Dennis is still playing. He's playing for Normandy. No, playing in the Normand. Playing for Pacey Maniles. And they've got, I mean, they're called Pacey and he's called Big Fat. This is an excellent combination. Playing in the Regional 1 Normandy B division, where he got 15 goals in 22 appearances. And unfortunately, for the first time in his career, no longer with a positive goals to appearances record, just the 105 goals and 111 appearances. It's very sad. Big Fat Dennis, very, very sad. And Salah Bouzrara, continuing the world tour of our all-time best 11. He is still playing in Tunisia. Budgets. We could do with a big budget here, please. I don't really know what a big budget is for us. I don't really want to spend money on transfers necessarily. I just want to be able to bring in a whole bunch of free transfers. So a big increase in wage budget would be nice. That's not an increase at all, I don't think. We're currently spending 91k. Only committed to 76 though, because all the loans are going back. So I guess we do have a little bit of wiggle room there. We've got to decide if we're bringing the loans back, the likes of David Carter. Might be time to move on from some of those boys. Perhaps we've moved beyond bringing our old boys back in every summer. The club are now looking for me to finish top half next season and then start working towards promotion to Ligue 1. Well, there we go. It is actually officially in the plan now. This board are looking for us to move into Ligue 1. So we do need to shift in that direction. They still want me to do it by selling players on at a profit, working within the budget, sign players to sell for a profit. So they want us to gradually improve over 5 years to get to League 1 whilst being a selling club, which, I mean, it could well be the shape of how this ends up being anyway. Our team leaders are Gotan Tutu and Abdallah. Our plans for next season, let's tell them we're going to finish in the top half. Top half, please and thank you. They seem happy enough about that. So we get to send them on their holidays happy, and that's all I ever wanted. End of season break, training camp destination. Can we go abroad yet? No. Should we go to Normandy and hang out with Big Fat Dennis? Of course we're going to go to Normandy and hang out with Big Fat Dennis. Everyone round to Dennis's house. The pizzas are on him. And, money-wise, let's have a little look. So who are we keeping? Because we're in one of those situations again where we've got a couple of extremely talented players and then a lot of average stuff. So really, we're looking at Deleste and Tutu. Noah Lemina is only on loan from PSG. Is he on loan for another year? We have got him on loan for another year, but he's been here. This is going to be his third loan. He's never really established himself as a starter or as any good. His star rating always looks great, but I guess he just doesn't suit the way we play currently. Maybe if we're shuffling the midfield around, Lemina fits into it a little bit better. I suggest we're probably not going to be able to get Vukovic on loan again for another year. We can't really justify £10,000 a week, and we certainly can't agree to a mandatory future fee of 1.3 million. So I don't think Vukovic is going to be coming back. We need to be a little bit more sensible with how we're spending our money. It might be the year that Cyril Faure comes into the team, turns 18 this summer. He's not quite done a Mick Powell like Nguema did last year, but at 3-star current ability, he's as good as any other midfielder we've got. So I think if we're playing him in the middle as our box-to-box midfielder, I think he's going to suit that role pretty well. So expect him to be part of the squad. And then we've just got to hope we can keep hold of him, keep hold of Nguema, Gotan, Carter. These are our boys. I've said let's move away from our boys. Forget moving away from our boys. Focus back in again on our boys. Who have we got ready to come up? Nobody really. Russ Eddy, Michael Oliver, who we sold, loaned back, and then put down into the B team because he's just not progressed. He's 21 now. I think Michael Oliver is probably done. But Russ Eddy, not quite ready for the first team yet. 2-star current ability. And then Emran Soglo is a left winger. We've got so many left wingers. I can't ever see him making the breakthrough. Worryingly, we don't seem to have the next generation ready to come in. Dan Fouquet. I mean, he should be. Why is he not on the first team candidates? I guess he's just not quite ready yet. But maybe another year, he's going to be awesome. I hope in the Nguema role, maybe. But it just looks like the youth system is slowed down a little bit. We used to get 3 or 4 come through a year. Less so now, it seems. Right, let's shift some of these boys out. Who wants Bradley Barcola? Shift some of these boys out. This summer's going to be the same shape as usual, waiting for July the 1st and bringing in free transfers. We don't want to spend money if we can avoid it. We'd like to keep hold of the players that we've got. I guess we need to come up with a new tactical plan, but it's difficult to do until we know what we're going to be dealing with player-wise. I'm leaning towards what I'd really like to do. I'd like to do a 4-2-3-1. I'd like Tutu to be out there, and I'd like Nguema there, which he can't really do, so we'll probably have to train him to do that. So I guess initially we have Nguema there. Vukovic isn't going to be here, so we can bin him off. Keita's not going to be here. Gomis doesn't want to be here. Barcola, I don't think, is the man to be up front. So if he's in there as our playmaker, Tutu is an inside forward coming off that left-hand side. I still think that will be his best role eventually. So midfield, we've got Fowry. So he's going to be in there. But then, I mean, we're not going to have Renault in at the back. We're not going to have Moltenis in if we can help it. Where's Delest? Delest. Why can't I find Delest? There he is. So Delest in at the back. Van der Merch can stay in. Obviously, we have to bin off Mandrea as well. Can we just remove from position? We've got a lot to do. There's not. I mean, if we can get David Carter back again, have we already got him back again? Past Kev, have you secured him? We have. So David Carter can stay in at the back. So they'll be that way round. So we've got our back four. We don't need to fiddle with the back four. We do need a goalkeeper. We need a central midfielder. We need somebody to play here. And then we need that out-and-out goal scorer that we've been looking for ages. Or we go with 2-2 and then Lemina or Gotan can play on this side. If once again we can't find a striker. But I really, really hope that this is the summer that we find a striker. Please, can we have a striker? And then we'll probably tweak this around. We're not going to use the standard gegenpress because for a start, we can't leave anything unbalanced. That's hideous. And we'll fiddle with a few bits as well. Once we know who the personnel are. But that's what we're aiming for. Whether we get there or not, you know how it is when you're one of these clubs that doesn't really have any money, doesn't have much of a reputation. We're feeding off the scraps of other clubs. Even if we identify the superstars that we want to bring in to fill those roles, there's a very good chance those superstars end up going somewhere else because that just seems to be the nature of how managing tour is. So let's get through to the 1st of July. Unless something major happens before then, see what we can bring in. We have a clear out in full swing. We have multiple players who've left the club. Both of the Abdallahs have gone to go to Bastia. Apparently they have to stay together. Ben Randy Abdallah, £250,000 for him as the better of the two. Hakeem Abdallah, only 8,500. But, you know, we had them here as a package deal. They've moved on as a package deal. Are they actually brothers? It's not clear. Hold on. He was born in Troyes, and the other one was born in... No, not Happiness. I reckon they're actually brothers. They were born in the same place. Have they followed each other around their entire career? Wow. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're brothers, and they've moved on together anyway. Traore has been sold for 145,000 to Stade Lavallois. He lost his place this season and wasn't likely to win it back again, at least not in a way that would improve the team. Jules Godin has gone to Châteauroux on a free transfer. We didn't use him at all in the first team last year. Interestingly, he did play for the B team that won National 3 and is now up to National 2 level for next year, which I think is the highest level they can get to as a B team. But Jules Godin really, really finding his level with this team. 24 goals, a 7.98 average. He always wanted to play as a striker for me, and I always played him in midfield. Maybe he was a striker after all, but not at our level, so he's moved on. And also Kevin Berger, a young backup goalkeeper that was never going to get anywhere near the first team. He's gone to Nancy for 1.6. I was going to say million. It's not million. It's 1,000. That's an entirely smaller number. One player has come in. Frank Moran is a youngster who was at Paris Saint Germain, just one of these youngsters from one of the top clubs. He is a striker. Unfortunately, not as much potential as he initially indicated that he might have. And it looks like we do have a couple of surprise deals coming in as well, which again are ones that I would have done back in January. So what have I done with players who are out of contract? We've got this guy who is a striker who doesn't score goals and was playing a division below us last year. What is Past Kev up to in these Januaries? I don't really know. I think he feels like he needs to make some business happen. Yeah, I mean, they might be good. We'll see, I guess. And then Keita, of course, is the one that's leaving. Martinez, we've just turned down 180,000 from Auxerre. But with the players that have moved on, we do have quite a nice little transfer budget now. Loads of spare wage budget. And we just continue to wait for the 1st of July. And Guema should be signing a new contract any day now. We've agreed a new 4-year deal with him. Just waiting for it to be rubber stamped. So if we can get him tied down, that is massive for us. Michael Beagles, there you go, has just signed a new contract as well. Likely to be our backup goalkeeper for this coming year. We've got both Mandrea and Barr on the transfer list because neither of them are good enough. So Beagles can be backup goalkeeper. And we do need to sign a first choice goalkeeper in over the top of his head. But we're clearing squad space out. We are making room. We've got room in the budget. We've got room in the squad. We just need to hope we can convince players to come and sign for us in July. Oh, well done. I was just about to move on. It looks like my director of football has made an offer for somebody. What have we got here? Thibaut Vargas is a right back who can also play on the right-hand side of midfield. We're going to need to scout him to have a proper look at him. He's only 51% scouted at the moment, but he is as good on right midfield as Lemina, apparently. At right back, he is as good as Van der Merch with potential to get even better. Was playing for Châteauroux. I'll let him come in as long as he's not being offered too much money. That seems like an acceptable deal. And we'll just tweak the mentoring groups as well whilst we continue wait for the 1st of July. It is the 1st of July, which means those 3 players we were looking at before have arrived, along with a goalkeeper. I promised I'd signed one. We have one. So first up, we have Morgan Guillevogoy, who is a right winger. Yeah, he's not as good as what I've got to stop bringing in these players on the contract expiry thing. Use your words, Kevin. Stop signing trash like this. Bridge Ndilo. Yeah. Yep. He's and then Christopher Rockia is a left back. Well, they're all old. I guess they've got that. Yevan Jerf, possibly a little better. I mean, I'm still thinking maybe he's going to be backup goalkeeper rather than first choice keeper. I like to think we can find somebody a little better than this. Although to be fair, he was the starter for Nancy this year as they got promoted to our division. So he has just come up after a very good season where he got 21 clean sheets playing in the division below. So I guess not the worst player we could have bringing into the squad. But I would like to think we can do better. Now we've finally hit the 1st of July. All of the players that were on the way out of the club have now left. We are down to absolutely bare bones of a squad compared to the size of the squad we usually operate with. If we just have a look at the size of the squad, this is what we've got. I've moved everybody down to the B team who we don't want. So Mandrea is down there. Bar's been released. Sana's been released. Vukovic has gone back to his parent club, Monaco. So we've just got the 2 loans in Carter and Lemina who are still here. And then the players that I intend to keep and use next year, which gives us a squad of 19 with some fairly obvious gaps that need filling. We need another goalkeeper. We still probably need a striker. If we're going to play this system, we need someone who can play in that role as part of it. Midfielders are a high priority, and we could probably do with a little bit extra in the fullback areas as well, where we've only really got Cisse, Van der Merch, and the new boy Rokia, who, let's face it, I'm probably not going to use very much. He's another one of those we've brought in for a year, and we'll sell him on next summer at a bit of a profit after he's not really played very many games. But there is much to do. Just confirmation of all the other players that have disappeared out of the club as well. Much to do and lots of money to do it with. No excuses. We've got £44,000 a week of wage budget to spend. If we pour all the transfer budget into wage budget, it goes even higher. We could almost double our current wage outlay, and we only really need to bring in 3 or 4 players. We could bring in 3 or 4 superstars here, or 10 not very good players. I wonder which we'll do. And just to give us a little bit of extra something to play with, Michael Oliver, we just got another £400,000 for him, which puts another £250,000 into the transfer budget. We said earlier in the video that I think this guy's done. We had him on loan last year, didn't play him for a single minute of football. He's 21 now. I can't imagine we were ever going to get much in the way of a big sell on for him. Apparently, he's worth £5 million, but we'll happily take an extra £250,000, pour that into our kitty, and I mean, we don't really want to spend, so let's do that. Let's leave a little bit in the transfer budget, put the rest over into the wage budget, and head to my director of football and see what treats they've got for me. Get some trials in. We've reached that point where we can attract lots of fantastic young players from around the world. We can't sign them because we're only signing French players. This guy, I would love to sign this guy, but he's Italian. We're checking them all for French passports. Juan Larios, Spanish, no. There's a few that have got, I can't remember which ones are actually French and which ones have got French passports, but these guys are all French. Basically, any that are French, we're bringing in. There are a few guys we've made offers for who are just on French passports. So, yeah, he's Malian, but has French as a second nationality. So we are looking to bring in some guys. It is a shame that we are quite limited in the guys that we could bring in, because we decided to just sign homegrown. Whose idea was that? Oh, we have done some transfers. Firstly, we've got rid of one of the guys we brought in on a free transfer, Christopher Rokia. Obviously, we can't sell these players straight away because they won't leave having just arrived, but he has gone out on loan to Grenoble for 100% of his salary. He's only in on a 1-year contract anyway. We consider that a bonus, and we immediately replaced him as well with a better left back, Remy Vita, the first of the new players who's in. He's 26 years old, can play anywhere up the left-hand side. We're going to use him as left back, but you might see him playing on the left wing, if we run out of options on that side. But he should be a nice competitor for Cisse at left back for us. Played a full season for Clermont last year, who of course have been long-time rivals of ours. For us to take a player off of them, promotion rivals as well, has got to be good business. Chrislane Matsima is a new centre-back. Look at that value on him immediately. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. He's 6'3". I like a big centre-back, and he'll be straight in there competing with Deleste and Carter, and hopefully leaving us not having to play Tom Renault at centre-back at any point this year. He's been at Monaco all of his career, playing in the various feeder-level teams for Monaco, got out on loan. Never came to us on loan, interestingly, but has now joined us permanently. Samuel Bosiwa, I have to bring in at least one left winger every summer. Well, here he is. 24 years old, can play on the left-hand side, but also on the right-hand side. He is formerly of Lyon. Again, only ever really been in their B teams so far. Pepe Bonnet is a backup goalkeeper for us. So one of a couple of new goalkeepers we brought in this summer, as we've pushed Mandrea down into the B team, and he can just live down there now. We never need to see that face again. Goodness me, will I miss him. What a man. And then Dion Lopi is 20. No, he's not 23. He's 25 years old. Got 1 cap for Senegal, just to prove that we're not cheating. There you go. He has got French as his second nationality, and he is the best central midfielder we've got at the club now, having previously been at Amiens on loan from Saint Etienne, where he never really played for them, was at Riem as well. He's got Ligue games in his previous, and will hopefully get back to that level again with us. That's the plan. And then the star signing so far, I think we have our goal scorer, Steve squared, 21-year-old French under-19 international. He is a fast striker on loan until the end of the season from Nice, they stole a couple of our players a few years ago. In fact, this is a guy who they stole off of. They love picking these players out of the lower leagues, don't they? Was at Vafka. Nice signed him for £575,000. Haven't played him in a game yet, but we've now taken him. And so he does have experience playing at this level and scoring at this level. Not as prolifically as we're hoping he's going to score for us, but 12 goal contributions in 21 appearances last season as a 20-year-old. I mean, you can't really argue with that, can you? He is going to be quite something, probably alongside Tutu, because the one thing we haven't been able to find is an attacking midfielder. We just haven't been able to come across one. So at the moment, I've kind of reverted my plan back to the plan that we used last season, and it'll look something like this. It probably won't be Gotan. I mean, obviously, quick pick at this time of the season is going to be not particularly useful, but you get the idea. It'll be a front four of Nguema, Tutu, Stevenart, and someone on this left-hand side. We do have a little bit of money left, both in the wage budget and some transfer budget available, so we're by no means done yet, but I think bringing in that striker and just strengthening throughout the rest of the club is definitely a positive. We could probably do with another central midfield player, although if we just drop that down to show players who are 2 stars, we immediately then get Renault, Paulo, Fowry. So Paulo and Fowry in particular are players who very much are for our future. We've turned down a £400,000 offer, I think, for Paulo this summer. So we don't necessarily need to load that in with a bunch of old men. But I think we're probably still looking weak at goalkeeper again. I don't know that he's much better than Mandrea, but a change is as good as a different goalkeeper, maybe. The summer is still young. Who knows what else might happen. And that's your lot for transfers. It's a very, very early start to the season again on the 24th of July. We've got over a month to still bring some more players in. We have got money left in both budgets. We're trying to bring in some more players on loan, but everyone we try and bring in we're in that situation where everyone, you've heard it a million times, everyone who'll improve us is too expensive or won't join us. I'm trying to find the most recent scout report that came in. If I just put in scout and see what happens on the search here. Yeah, this guy is a perfect example. Would be an absolutely sensational signing for us. He's young, he's French, he strengthens a position we really need to strengthen. He's on the transfer list and the loan list. So let's offer him they want us to pay his full £20,000 a week salary, or we can buy him for £1.3 million. So we can't sign him. So I still think we've made significant improvements in the right parts of the pitch for us to be a real threat this year. We have our new goalkeeper. We've brought in a couple of important new signings at the back. We've strengthened the central midfield, and we've signed a proper striker. Obviously, Nguema would be in this team normally, but he's not fully fit yet for the start of the season, along with David Carter, Fowry. There's a few of them who have struggled a little bit in pre-season, so it's not quite our full-strength team just yet. We are slightly downgraded on the left-hand side. Lemina, not quite Vukovic level, but, I mean, he's got to come good eventually, surely. Maybe this is the year. He struggled a little bit with injury last year, so we're going to show a little bit of faith to Lemina early on. If we end up having to put Tutu out onto the left, have Stevenart up front on his own with Nguema on the right and add an extra man into midfield, then so be it. The only reason we moved away from the 4-3-3 is because Tutu wasn't any good up front on his own. This could be the perfect opportunity to get Tutu out onto the left-hand side, like I've been trying to do for 3 years, and go back to the system that's a little bit more defensively solid. And we've certainly got the midfield players to be able to do that now. So it's definitely a plan B option buzzing around in my mind. But I think we'll start the season like this, see how we get on, and take it from there. The media think we're going to finish mid-table, which at least they're not expecting us to get relegated anymore. The board are looking for mid-table. 2-2 is favourite to be top scorer in the division again. I don't know if I assume he's our highest player on the best player at the club list. In fact, he's not. Delest and Stevenart are. Good to see Delest still having a decent showing on there. So it's one of those seasons again. The squad's not perfect, but with the money that we've got, the squad's never going to be perfect. Let's just see how we get on, eh? We'll find out in the next episode. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.